As a Gen Z woman, I naturally am curious about what the sentiment of Gen Z women is. And honestly, I think they're not doing okay. Like, they're definitely not of sound mind. It turns out that Gen Z women have this inexplicable attraction to effeminate, emasculated men with little to no testosterone in their body. And what they're using to describe this is the term baby girl energy. I'm not kidding. They're calling grown-ass, middle-aged men baby girl energy because they have shed themselves of toxic masculinity and they dress up in makeup and skirts and
none of that.
They appear very non-threatening. So here is the official definition. And this is from Out. This is a gay magazine. So apparently gay men have also jumped on the bandwagon for this.
I am shocked.
Yeah. They said, when it comes to the internet's taste in men, some people prefer daddies, some prefer himbos, some prefer twinks, and some prefer baby girls. All are valid choices. Here are the hallmarks of the baby girl. A man who is hot and sexy, but not in a threatening or domineering way. He eschews toxic masculinity for sensitivity and understanding. He's got puppy dog eyes and DSLs that could convince you to do anything. Even if he's taller and older than you, you want nothing more than to protect him. Here are 10 of our favorite internet baby girls. They've listed here Jacob Elordi, for instance. Also Timothy Chalamet. That's not a surprise at all. I know that Andrew Garfield is also a popular choice for baby girl energy, as is Pedro Pascal, who is literally...
That's grandpa. That's baby grandma energy.
He's approaching 50. I wouldn't want to call him a baby girl or, you know, baby anything. But yeah, he dresses up in this very effeminate style on red carpets, and he gets lots of fan cams made about him on TikTok, so I understand why he would be on this list. Justice Smith is also on here. Jonathan Bailey, Joe Keery from Stranger Things. But yeah, I also saw a headline that says men's fashion is entering its baby girl era, and we're here for it. And also, what does baby girl mean on TikTok, and what does it have to do with middle-aged men? Apparently Walter White is another middle-aged man who's getting called a baby girl, and Pedro Pascal specifically as Joel Miller in The Last of Us. So
yeah,
I don't know what about those characters specifically exudes a baby girl energy, but it basically just means the opposite of masculinity, right?
Yeah, it's what, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of people making all the women scared of men. So then they naturally evolve to supposedly find this attractive. Though we did just talk that story a couple weeks ago where the guy pays for everything and the girl's like, oh my gosh, I could feel the feminism leaving my body.
There are a lot of conflicting messages.
That was the chick that also was complaining about her dad because her dad was a Bitcoin dude that apparently abandoned her or something.
Man, Bitcoin dude must be doing well right now.
If he owns Bitcoin, he's doing quite well.
And he was doing well before Bitcoin too.
Every day, I regret not putting more into the last dip when Biden got elected.
The way Bitcoin has worked historically, and I'm not giving you any advice, but the way Bitcoin has worked is when it breaks and it makes an all-time high, it breaks it by like 10 to 20 to 30 times, then falls back down to just around where the all-time high was, and then does the same thing again. So right now it's about to break the all-time high, it looks like. Yep. And after that, the blue sky breakout, you don't know where it's going to go. So, you know, buy some, sit on it, see how much it grows. I just
dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Definitely when the next dip comes. Let's go.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Okay, tell me who comes to mind when I say this. A man who is baby girl comes across as sweet, charming, a bit bashful, and in touch with their feminine side, ready to talk about their feelings or carry a purse to brunch at any point. Does that mean his own purse, or is it like, can you carry my purse for me?
My guess is they mean like his own purse.
Great. Merces.
A merce.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I have a big bag that I carry with me everywhere, but I definitely don't have any baby girl energy.
I mean, maybe someone in the chat will beg to differ.
Listen, the chat. There's definitely going to be someone in the chat.
Guys, does Phil have baby girl energy? Does Brett have baby girl energy? Let us know.
Allegedly, Ruckus mentioned MGK.
Yeah, he's kind of
he just comes off as a little bit like crazy.
Yeah.
A little bit crazy. Not really feminine, but like nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like off his rocker. Pete Davidson as well. They just seem crazy. But when I think of like Timothy Chalamet and Jacob Elordi wearing crop tops and like doing the little pose like this, like a little cheeky pose with their finger in their mouth, I'm thinking baby girl energy would apply to that.
All the emos from 2007 on MySpace.
But at least they were teenagers, right? Like, they weren't men in their 40s and 50s.
There's a $20 one here from That Stanzatastic. Says, I thought BuzzFeed and Vice are gone. What are we reading? The Ghosts of the Feed? Also, Phil, have you played Helldivers yet?
I have played Helldivers a little bit. Haven't played with a group of people, and I hear that's where it really excels. It was fun, but I hear when you get together with your friends, it's really a blast.
This is not either of those. I have a New York Post article that was typed up about this. So no, it's not Vice.
It was getting a lot of mainstream coverage, but I was aware of this then when Jacob Elordi went on Jimmy Fallon, and he was wearing this like soft little non-threatening cardigan, and at the end of the show, he did this to the audience. He was making these little heart hands at the audience and smiling. And it was I've never been more repulsed in my life, to be honest. And this is such a lie. They say this is exactly what women want men to become.
Well,
the antithesis of toxic macho masculinity.
You said that Gen Z likes this, but I would argue that then every other generation doesn't actually like this, even if they pretend that they do.
Well, it all started with hormonal birth control.
We're back on this then, yes.
I mean, look, I've already said this earlier in the week, but yeah, I mean, women are taking a drug that changes their taste in men, and they don't even know that their brains are being controlled by it. Yep. Your body is in a state where it thinks it might be pregnant, and of course, the result would be you're looking for a more nurturing guy, one who's less aggressive and is capable of protecting you, staying loyal to you. You know, he's able to care for a child, things like that. But now women are walking around in this state of phantom pregnancy, and we're wondering why are men trying to be less masculine these days?
Also, on the macro scale, like, we just live in a country that doesn't put them at extreme risk every day, or at least the media pretends like there's nothing that's putting them at risk every single day when you go out in the world. So when you live a life with a lack of struggle, you don't really seem to value the energy that actual masculinity can provide, you know, the things that actual masculinity can provide you as a woman. So
you never heard anything positive about masculinity in your life. It's also bleak out there because there's such a short supply of testosterone and actual masculine men that this is kind of a cope, right? Like, oh, I don't actually want that, but it's only because it's really not on the market anymore, because these dudes in their 20s or even in their teens have the same testosterone levels as their great grandfathers.
I don't believe that women don't want that. I believe they say they don't want that, and I believe that part of the I believe part of the reason why women say they don't want that, then get married, then end up divorcing, is because that they are conditioned to think they want something. They think that the things that they want can be provided by government sometimes, or provided by someone else, and really what they're looking for is a family. Like, that's the kind of thing that tends to make people happy. I think the idea of going out and working really doesn't make most people happy, so why would it make women happy, you know?
Right,
So.
like the lie, at least of like 80s feminism, was your career should be the most important thing to you, and your career isn't even the most important thing to you if you're a man.
Well, and yes, it would have been a fundamental lie that the man was fulfilled by his career, in so much as that what was actually true is that he was fulfilled by his career because it allowed him to provide to the people he loved. Even if we were talking about a time where men were more emotionally distant, doesn't mean they didn't actually feel something strongly for their family. There was just social conditioning that allowed them to display that a certain way, and the number one way to do that would be to go to work every day and provide for them and make sure that they're taken care of.
And also there are people that talk about, like, people talk about, oh, you know, I like men that share their feelings, blah 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 blah. Women say that, but then as soon as a guy does, or when dudes do it too much, then the man starts coming across as not reliable, as he can't take care of my emotions because he can't take care of his own, and it becomes a thing where she's gonna feel like, oh, I'm gonna have to take care of this guy. That is not something that anyone wants. Nobody wants to feel like they have to take care of this other person, and they're not gonna be able to take care of him. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is. I really think that most of this stuff is just lies told to people and then young people end up believing it because just it seems like society just reinforces it entirely, constantly, all the time now.
From your perspectives as men, do you think it's possible for a man to have an excess level of masculinity?
No, it is only a possibility to have not enough self-control. So masculinity is something that needs to be moderated and controlled.
Kept in check.
Yeah,
like Jordan,
Well, self-discipline seems like a hallmark of
100%.
masculinity.
Well, maybe.
like
Okay,
what
fine
Jordan
enough.
Peterson
Fair enough.
would say it's not about not being able to hurt someone. It's about being able to hurt someone, but controlling the ability to do so.
Self-control and discipline are prerequisites to being masculine, I think. And if you don't have them, then you don't control your emotions, and not controlling your emotions, honestly, is feminine.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to control yourself. You have to have discipline if you're going to be masculine. The stoicism, kind of like unmoving, not emotional, what that ends up doing for a family is that gives a family a point of reference. Dad's the stoic. Dad's not freaking out. I don't have to freak out. Or I can freak out and dad will take care of it. It offers safety. It offers a stoic father that or a stoic, father that is a, considered the rock for the family. And this is, I'm an agnostic guy. I'm not a dude that's saying that this is what God says or blah, blah, blah. Like, I understand there are people that believe that. Personally, I don't think that it is. But it doesn't change the fact that most of the time the Christians are right about a ton of shit. Right? Like the father that's kind of leading the family, that is fairly stoic, that is reasonable, that is calm, that makes it okay for the rest of the family to be themselves. When you have a leader that is not reliable, that's not stoic, that's emotionally up and down, blah, 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 nobody feels safe, and it just adds to chaos to your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're kind of living in a society where femininity has run rampant.
100%.
And that's not being held in moderation.
100%. The reason why we have a spastic society and stuff like that is
hysteria.
It's hysterical. It's like we don't have good masculine figures that can be moderate and calm, and we're allowing hysterical people to dictate the conversation, the national political conversation, and to dictate what's going to happen. There is no reason for us to have freaked out about the whole bathroom thing the way we did. Like when trans people, it's like for some reason trans people just showed up, which they didn't. They'd been in society for ages, but for some reason that just became a thing, and that was because we were being forced to like whiplash, go from the current thing to the current thing to the current thing. And if you had a more masculine, reasoned, calm kind of society, I think that you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have people like whiplashing all over the place.
Yeah, I think these days people just discount how primal they are. Just because we have laptops and we have phones and we have air conditioning and we have running water, we're all different, and we are so developed past even just 100 years ago.
Yeah,
we don't have to prescribe to all of these former norms, but in reality, our lizard brains are controlling a lot of our decision making.
90% of it. The elephant is in charge. Most of the time, the rider is just making up excuses for what the elephant wants to do.
It's like people talking about how they think that we've evolved past war, but they never see life outside of the United States, where war is a common occurrence everywhere.
Well, I saw this wonderful GIF before, and it was just, I don't know what kind of monkeys they were, but they were monkeys fighting. And it literally just said, war existed before man. It was there waiting for man. And man has perfected war, but war will be there after man has been destroyed. Yep. War is the struggle is existence. Every bit of life has to struggle to exist.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.